Everything about manifestation started to really click for me once I realized and accepted these core things that I'm going to share in this video. And what I share in here, you can literally relate to everything or anything that you are actively consciously manifesting in your experience, whether it is more success in your business, more clients, greater visibility, more money, the love of your life. And I'm really excited to share these things because for a long time for me, I thought I had it all down, and there was a lot more that I didn't fully grasp or fully embody, even if I conceptually understood it. So I'm also going to share different ways that you can embody the things that I'm going to share in this video. This may be longer than some of my other videos, so buckle up, take notes, and let me know if this is helpful for you after you watch it. Also, if you desire to work with me or have deeper support on your journey, all of that information is in the description box below. I've also just recently opened up a few different new ways to work with me one-on-one based on the level of support you're desiring. So I have that, I have my group mentorship, or my amazing community on School. So check all of that out and make sure if you vibe, you subscribe. Okay, so the first core thing is remembering this, the fact that we enter this world, we enter this body and this physical human experience perfectly whole and complete. Perfectly whole and complete. Nothing to fix, nowhere to go, nowhere to be, perfectly whole and complete. But due to the programming that we take on from our lived experience, from our upbringing, from society, from passed down through our lineage, all of that stuff, we forget what and who we truly are, and we become unconscious of it. So this is why it's so powerful when you embark on this journey of spiritual evolution, of conscious manifestation, of making your dreams your reality. It's a process of really remembering that you are actually one with God. You are one with your desires. You are not separate from any of it. And I'll get to that in a moment. But this is the first thing. You are perfect, whole, and complete. That's innately what you are. You've always been. You've never not been perfect, whole, and complete. This is the main distortion that we are born into when we enter this human experience, believing that we're not perfect, whole, and complete due to the programming and things that we've taken on, which is not actually a bad thing. It just is part of the experience of remembering who we truly are in life, right? We are all that is entering this human experience. We forget who we are. We experience ourselves through other people and experiences and situations. It's just reflecting our beliefs. And on this journey, we remember the truth of who we are and our ability to be conscious creators of our reality. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I have like 9 things that I'm going to go through. So the second thing is reality is literally a mirror reflecting back to you your awareness, aka what you believe and what you're identifying with, which again is part of the program. What you have been identifying with most of the time is the programmed self, not actually your God self, who you truly are. So for example, most people have the belief unconsciously that they are not enough. And in turn, different experiences show up in their reality, their reflection, the mirror that shows them that they're not enough because that's what they've been identifying with. So going back to the first thing, we're born imperfect, whole, and complete. Then we get this program, then we become aware of the program because of things people said, things we experienced, etc. Then reality is reflecting us back what we are aware of, what we are identifying with, and we've been misidentifying things because of the program. So once you start to become aware of this, you can distance yourself from the program, and I'll get to that in a moment. And all of these things have been, like I said, completely transformational for me. Even in the last 8 months, I have been going through a whole nother layer of spiritual awakening. And my first awakening happened in 2005, actually, when I was in a really abusive relationship when I was a teenager. And I had another awakening in 2010, another layer in 2015. And like in the last 8 months, I've been going through an even bigger layer, probably the biggest layer, which I'll share more about in another video. But it really solidified a lot of things for me and the things that I'm sharing in this video. The third thing that really helped manifestation and really click for me is that we are not the program. We are not the program. You are not the program. You are not the programmed self. You are not your thoughts. You are not your beliefs. You are not your emotions. You are not even your body. You are literally pure divine consciousness streaming through your physical vessel, having this human experience, experiencing life as this character with your name who is aware of all of the thoughts, the stories, etc. So the I am awareness, which is God, which is within you, is always lovingly in the background, was here before your body existed, is beyond your beliefs, and is outside of any conditions. So when you know you are not the program, which takes practice and consistent awareness, which I'll also be getting to, but when you know you're not the program, and you can create that space between your character and your divine self, your God self, then you can start to actually see it for what it is, not true. And when you start to see it for what it is, literally just a program, you can start to take your power back as the creator of your experience and basically just say, oh, that thought, that's just part of the old program. This is who I am. This is how it is. Oh, that emotional experience that feels undesirable to my human that's coming up. Great. That's just because she was believing in something that she's not, and it's bringing up emotions in her. And I am aware of that experience, but I'm not identifying with it. That's basically like conversations that I've had with myself and experiences. So basically, you are the I am awareness beyond the thoughts, beyond your character, beyond the program. You are one with that I am. That's the truth of who you truly are. Your character has her name, has her stories, her beliefs, yada, yada, yada. So when you can disidentify with the program and connect more with I am, and a good way to do this, a really simple way to do this, is to literally meditate on the words I am, which is pure beingness. You can start to become aware of pure presence, pure beingness, God consciousness, and old programming will just start to dissolve. Old stories will start to dissolve, and you will more easily be able to catch the program when it comes up instead of identifying with it. The problem is we identify with it unconsciously. The ego comes in and tries to give you all these thoughts, all these emotions, all these experiences in your reality even that don't match what you say you want. And it creates this emotional response and you start identifying with it and you go all the way down into that spiral, creating the same cycle and similar experiences again. That's what you have done. But you're not doing that anymore because you're expanding your awareness. And that is the goal. That's how we consciously create our experience. You are aware of the program. You don't identify with it anymore. You remember that you're perfect, whole, and complete. And reality starts to reflect more and more and more, it always is, who you are being and where your awareness is. Okay? So that's the third thing. You're not the program. You're the awareness beyond it. The program is the program. The thoughts are going to come. The things are going to happen. But can you stay rooted in the power of I am? Can you stay rooted in the awareness of your power and the awareness of what you are choosing? What you are choosing. And you choose your desired reality, your desired outcomes through your imagination, through your self-talk, and through who you are being and how you are showing up in your reality, the choices that you're making, the actions that you're taking. Okay, moving on to the fourth thing. Instead of trying to change the programmed self, which is something that honestly I did for a really, really long time. A really long time. But you know what? I learned a lot through that. I grew a lot through that. And I eventually reached this space of realizing that you don't actually need to change the programmed self. You just need to stop identifying with it. So instead of trying to change the programmed self, when you stop identifying with it, or with the thoughts or with the beliefs that are not empowering, the program self will change. The character will change. And you've likely already experienced this in some ways in your life without even realizing it because you are not the same person you were 6 months ago. You're not the same person you were probably 3 months ago. You've been growing, you've been evolving. You no longer identify with certain things you identified with in the past, right? So you've already done this in some way, shape, or form. This is just expanding your awareness of it so that you can intentionally do it even more, right? Instead of trying to reprogram all your limiting beliefs, stop identifying with those beliefs. Realize that, oh, they are from the programmed self. I am pure consciousness in this body, aware of that experience. I choose this. I have this. Go to the end, as Neville Goddard always says, in your imagination, and reality will reflect it. But having these principles in mind will certainly help you with doing that. Because like I said, for me, for a long time, I was trying to fix out there. I was trying to fix my beliefs. I was trying to do all these different things. And while they did help in a lot of different ways, I found myself back into similar cycles, identifying with the program self again and spiraling and witnessing things in my reality reflect that I didn't desire and was making it mean all these kind of things about me because that was actually the program that was there. And it really took some deep self-reflection to come to this awareness and to no longer identify with those things. And it's also an ongoing practice because the old program, the old awareness is going to come up. It's going to rear its ugly head as you choose something different because you're choosing something different. So the ego is going to freak out and it's going to be like, no, this is how it is. Oh, we got to keep you safe or this. And it's your job to be aware and say, no, actually, this is who I am. This is how it is, period, point blank. So again, this requires your awareness. This requires your commitment. This requires compassion for your human because your human's going to have her experience still. She's going to have freak out moments sometimes and she's going to judge herself or whatever. That's okay. And be devoted to your true self, your most empowered self, your divine self that lives within you. It's never about being perfect, all of this. It's literally just about being aware and allowing yourself to still have your human experience while being aware. The fifth thing is circumstances do not mean anything about you, about what's possible, about what you're capable of. they don't have any meaning except for the meaning that you give it or the meaning that you already given it, which is likely why it created the circumstance. I can't even tell you how many times I got triggered from certain circumstances in my life, right? We all have. And how many times I would spiral into all these things that I thought it meant about me. I'm not good enough. I'm not important. I'm not great at what I do. Nobody likes me, blah, 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 blah. Like because something was happening outside of me, went into all of those thoughts again, the program. And then that made me feel even more shitty. And it just was this whole looping spiral. And I finally reached this point. There was an experience I had a few years ago that really brought me to my knees in a lot of ways. And I reached this point of finally, like, there was nothing left for me to do. I just was like, you know what? This, what's happening outside of me, has nothing to do with my worth, with my value, with who I am as a person. And it was that realization that I really integrated this lesson, this wisdom of circumstances don't mean anything about you or what's possible. It's literally, they're showing you usually what you already believe or what you are identifying with. So again, like I said before, when you can no longer identify with the things, which is literally just an in the moment choice from awareness, then it doesn't matter what's happening outside of you. You're good no matter what, right? And so this is the practice of setting yourself free, not needing reality to be a certain way for you to know who the fuck you are, for you to know your value, for you to know your worth, for you to know that you are loved and adored and abundant and supported and all of that. So when you can create the space between the circumstances and the meanings and who you truly are, you literally will set yourself free. That's such a big weight off your shoulders. And you'll also be able to access deeper levels of inner peace and more desirable outcomes that show up in your reality. Usually pretty quickly when you make that shift of knowing that circumstances don't mean anything about you or what's possible for you, literally. And so this is a big one. And it's one that a lot of people get tripped up on, because if reality is showing you something that you don't want or something that really brings up a lot in you, it's easy to spiral. But there's another beautiful gift in that, because when we're stepping into more of our truth and our power and we're stepping into our next level of manifesting our desires, things come up to be let go of. It's like your subconscious is bringing this up, say, hey, you say you want this thing, but we still believe this. So it's your opportunity to be like, oh, that's not true. That's an old program. This is who I am. This is how it is. This is what I choose. And it's a beautiful gift of that, for you to let that go and integrate the wisdom. I always find a lot of strength in looking at the contrast that I've experienced on my journey as a gift, as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to meet more of who I am on the other side of that. And so just shift your perspective about this and know that you are infinitely supported, you are infinitely worthy always, and that the more you give that to yourself on the inner, you know that on the inner, reality has literally no other option but to reflect it. And if and when it doesn't, don't make it mean anything. Just make your peace your priority. That's it. Okay, number 6 is the root of all suffering is the belief in separation, aka believing that you are separate from God or source, which also in essence means believing that you are separate from love or separate from your desires. And this belief that you're separate creates fear, worry, doubt, and impacts your actions and outcomes. And this belief is really just the ego. The ego believes it's separate, but you are not the ego. You are one with God. You are the awareness beyond it, right? So, but identifying with the ego, identifying with being separate is what creates the suffering, the spiraling, the undesirable emotions, et cetera, et cetera. And so when you have this knowing that I am one with God and with God, all things are possible. I am one with my desires. Reality is just reflecting me. Then that gives you so much more power, because you're like, oh, I don't even need to worry about out there. All I need to do is focus on the inner, connect with the infinite love, abundance, bliss within me. And as within, so without. This is just so powerful. And one of the things that has been the catalyst to my recent layer of awakening has been meditating on that, meditating on I am one with God, and with God all things are possible. And then meditating on I am, just the words I am. So I started with that first quote of I am one with God, and with God all things are possible. And then I focused on that and zoomed out and rested in the awareness of I am. And it sparked so many different things for me. It's challenging to put into words, like how much I have transformed in the last 8 months. It's wild. So, and I'm also probably going to make a guided meditation around that. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. but it's something I intend on doing anyway. But I would love to hear if that's something that you love. It's going to be really powerful. So just to recap for number 6, the belief that you are separate from God, from source, from love, from your desires is what creates a fear, worry, doubt, etc. Remembering that you are one with it, that you are not separate, is what fuels faith. Faith is believing in something that hasn't happened yet, and so is fear. You always get to choose in the moment though, right? You either choose fear and you identify with the ego, you identify with the program, or you choose faith and you identify with the awareness of your experience. You remember that you are one with the all. You choose to have faith even though you don't know how it's all going to unfold. Even though you can't see how it's going to happen, how it's going to work out, you choose to have faith because you know who you are. I am. Okay. Moving on to number 7. You can still have the full spectrum human experience with all the emotion, whether desirable or undesirable, and still know who you are and consciously create your reality. So what I mean by this is you can still be aware of your human having our experience. You can still experience things that you don't desire and consciously manifest. You're not fucking anything up. It's all just happening in your awareness, and you get to choose what you identify with. If you're finding yourself stuck in something that really triggered something in you, it's just showing you that you've been believing something or identifying with something that's not actually you. That's why it hurts or it creates that emotion, because you're believing, you're identifying with something that's not you. So you can still have your full spectrum human experience. I had an experience not that long ago where something came up for me and I felt all the things. I felt sad. I felt frustration. I noticed all of the thoughts that were coming up that were not who I am. I cried. I was aware of my experience. I had compassion for my human. I knew what was happening. I knew that it was just coming up and out, literally. And if you can look at it like that, it makes it so much easier. It's literally just coming up and out. You're processing something. And if you can still have that loving awareness, not judging it, that's how you move through it so much faster. This is like energetic alchemy. And when you allow yourself to move through it without judgment, boom, I bet you something will manifest for you that you've been desiring, or something will shift in your reality because you move that energy. You never want to ignore your human experience and what comes up for you and brush it under a rug. You let it, face it head on, let it come up, and still know who you are and what's possible for you. Both can exist. Think of it this way. Say you are watching a movie and the movie brings up a lot of emotion for you. You're aware that the ending is happy. You know you're going back to your normal life after you leave the theater. But when you're in the theater, you're watching the movie and you're immersed in the experience, it brings up a lot of emotions and a range of sensations. So reality is actually your movie, but the only difference is you are the writer, the director, and star of it as it's happening now, which means you get to choose where you focus your awareness in every moment and what you identify with. And then what shows up on the screen of reality shifts for you. So when I say it's your movie and you're the writer, director, and star of the show, I'm talking about your God self. I'm talking about God within you, as you, expressing through you, that I am awareness. Not talking about the programmed character, human self, ego aspect, right? So this is your movie. You're the writer, director, and star of the show. What do you choose? Who do you be? What do you want to express as in this moment? Okay, number 8. Manifestation of your desired outcomes is actually about being good with it and good without it. Good with the thing, good without the thing. So good with the clients and money, good without it. You know you're amazing at what you do, whether one person signed up or 100 people signed up. Like, you know who you are with or without it is what I mean by that. You don't need it. You have it. Because like I said in the first one, you're already perfect, whole, and complete, period. And with that embodied knowing, your wildest dreams start to manifest with you as a byproduct of who you are. So this was one that I also had to learn through a lived experience where I didn't feel good with or without the thing, the person, the money, whatever. I didn't feel good with or without it. I felt like I needed that in order to confirm that I'm good enough, confirm or validate that I'm worthy and lovable. But that leaves nothing but a void. That creates suffering. That means that you're always going to be looking outside of yourself to fill that, but you're already whole, perfect, and complete. So it's just, that's part of the ego, is trying to get something out there to feel okay. This is really deep, so I hope that you really let this land. Are you good with or without the thing that you are calling into your experience? Do you know you're amazing at what you do with or without the overflow of clients? Do you know you're lovable and worthy with or without that person that you desire to be with? This is big. So I really hope that you let this land. And you might be wondering, well, how do I become good with or without it? If I don't have it, then this might happen and that might happen. Again, those are all stories, those are all programs. The key is here that when you connect to God within you, to the I am awareness, to infinite love, to the infinite source of abundance that is also you, it's within you. When you connect to that through meditation is the best way to do that, then you know that you literally fucking have it all. You have infinite love. You have infinite support. You are it. Then of course you're good with or without it in the external. But the thing is, when you realize that, remember that, feel that, truly relax and rest into that, reality is a byproduct of that knowing. So you'll automatically and naturally manifest more money, more clients, more abundance, more love because you have it within, you know you have it within, you are it, and you don't need it out there. So it happens anyway. So that's a big one. And it takes awareness and commitment, just like all of these. And by the way, if you want deeper support with any of this, reach out to me. Make sure you check out how to work with me in the description. I love supporting my clients. I work with a lot of amazing spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, creators with transforming from the inside out, creating greater impact and abundance from the inside out, because it's truly an inner game here. All right, last but not least, number 9, your body plays a part in this because if you feel dysregulated or if you're in fight or flight, or if you have unprocessed energy or emotions that come up for you, it can be challenging to have the awareness required to disidentify with the thoughts or the programs or the experiences from your past that are creating the response in your body. And I'm going to break this down because there's a lot of different information about this, and I'm aware of that. So if you feel dysregulated or in fight or flight or in survival mode or not safe or whatever, you may become consumed with the story or experience and create similar situations, or you may spiral into it and find it challenging to get out of that loop until you're regulated. So does this mean you can't manifest things if you're dysregulated or if you don't feel safe? No. And it can certainly support you. And I'm going to get to that in a moment, because I know that there are a lot of manifestation teachers out there that love to talk shit about nervous system regulation or saying that it's pointless or not important or doesn't matter because you're not the body. And while I can definitely see some of their points from a consciousness perspective, I get it. I also don't agree that it's not important or should be overlooked completely, because you're still having a human experience, and different people have experienced different things in their life, different traumas, different things, right? And having support for your nervous system when things come up for you, it will help you have inner peace of mind, and it will support the level of inner security you feel and your level of awareness when you are regulated and when you support yourself. So this can be so many simple things: meditation, breath work, EFT tapping. It doesn't really matter. And it's not those things that manifest the outcomes for you, but it's some of those things that can help regulate yourself if and when you feel like you're in a state of fight or flight or freaking out or whatever, and thinking positive, or you're not able to access the awareness to not identify with something. If you're in certain states, sometimes it can certainly be helpful to have practices in place. So don't neglect that. And also remember that you are the awareness beyond that. When you're in that moment and when you feel triggered, sometimes it can feel, like I said, very dysregulating and ungrounding. I know for me, there have been times in my personal experience where I spiraled a lot or struggled to get out of the loop that I was in. It felt like even though I was aware of what's possible and this and that, I still felt dread and danger, like not safe, whatever, because my body was screaming that. And I also wasn't on top of certain practices that would support me with that. And I didn't feel safe or supported. And even though the reason that likely happened for me was because I was identifying with a thought, belief, or experience that wasn't actually my truth, it was still extremely helpful and supportive and a deep act of self-love for me to lean on practices that supported with regulating my system. So can you manifest your desired outcomes regardless of that? Yes, right? Although sometimes it might be challenging to hold it, right? You might manifest the thing and then lose it all or go backwards, or it will feel like that in your experience, right? So it's important to return to a baseline of inner security, peace, and power. And at the end of the day, materializing your desires isn't about fixing yourself. It's not about reprogramming all the things. It's not about attaching to the outcomes. And it's, again, not even about getting something out there. It's about remembering the truth of who you are. It's about consciously choosing your preferred experience from the knowing and remembrance that it's who you already are, the I am, right? Your desires are literally whispers from your higher self that it's already done in consciousness, right? You desire it because it's already done in consciousness. Everything's already done, already exists. And the only thing left to do is to be it and to accept that it's already who you are. You already are the you who has it. And reality will shift and mold to meet you, not the other way around, because it always reflects who you are being, what you are identifying with. And you've identified with the old program for so long that it seemed like that was actually true, right? Things happen in your reality and you're like, oh, I knew that would happen, or that always happens. I never get this. I never did it. It's because you're identifying with the program that says that. So when you know who you are and you choose your desired experience, you watch reality shift and mold in so many magical ways because it has no other choice but to. And it doesn't matter when. So if you're thinking, well, when, how long? It doesn't matter. You already know that it's already done. Continue showing up as the you who knows it's already done, and it will show up. And that's another part of the practice of knowing that. And again, going back to one of the other ones I said, being good with or without it, while also knowing that it's done, but being good regardless. All right, that is all I have for this video. I'm excited to dive more into some of these topics and share more about my own experiences and clients' experiences. So if this activated something within you, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to connect with you. And if you're ready to transcend the old programming and allow in more abundance into your life, more opportunities, and step into the next level of your soul's work, then connect with me, join my community, work with me one-on-one, whatever you're feeling called to do when it comes to going deeper and getting the support that you desire in this season of your life. I am so here for it, and I'll see you in the next one.